We got first song by Caige, and then we'll talk to him live in the studio right after this.
Come on over for a cup of tea. I'll turn my music down if you will come around and keep me company. 'Cause that's what neighbors do. This town's big enough for me, and it's big enough for you. Wave at me when you go to get the mail. Say hello across from your garage sale. The grass is always greener on your lawn. I know you haven't known me long, but I would water your plants if you are ever gone. 'Cause that's what neighbors do. This town's big enough for me, and it's big enough for you. Bring potato salad to your barbecue, and then invite you over for a dip in the pool. If I had a pool, I don't have a pool. Big enough for me, and it's big enough for you. 'Cause that's what neighbors do. This heart's big enough for me, and it's big enough for you.
That's Caige Jamber on Center Stage, Minnesota, with his song Neighbors. Thanks for being here today, Caige.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Thanks for having me.
It's so great to hear that. Last time you were here, I don't know if you remember, you were with Bearland. And
that's right, yeah.
And that was a lot of fun, and we've been playing that music ever since, and that's been great. But you've been busy. What have you been up to with your music career?
Let's see. I just wrote, produced, and recorded an album, so that's been quite busy. Yeah, so this winter I applied for a Region 2 Arts Individual Artist Grant, and I was awarded a grant to record, produce, and write my own album. And so for the last 6 months, I've been doing that.
And did you go to a big studio and hire all your friends and do that?
No, actually, quite the opposite. I have always been intrigued by the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, so I decided that I would sit in my bedroom with my computer and just do it all myself, in-house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that. What's that like? First thing you have to do is get the money, kind of. I mean, you could do it without the money, but then you can't distribute it probably. But
so you have to know what you want to get. There's so many options and technology out there that, I mean, in a way it's nice because you can't really go wrong, but in the same sense, you can spend 3 days researching one speaker that you want to get for your home studio. Yeah. And so the first thing is just getting all that stuff organized. You need a way to capture the sound, you need a way to edit the sound, and a way to review the sound is the most simplest way to put it, I guess.
And how much of that did you have when you started?
I had the instruments.
Had your computer and the instruments.
Yep, I had the computer and the instruments, and then through the grant I was able to get some foam paneling and microphones and cables and stands and that kind of thing.
Wow.
To really make it an easy process. So.
Yeah, and as I understand those grants work, you have to commit yourself too. I mean, they don't just give you all the money. You're
right. There's a certain percentage of, if you're going to buy equipment, that you need to show that you're willing to put some of your own money into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a handout, but it's more of an assist.
Right. So then, okay, now you've got equipment enough to do it. Do you just play acoustic and electric guitar on it, or what did you do for other instruments?
No, the room was a maze of drums and bass and shakers and tambourines and all that stuff. So yeah, so I would layer it down one after another. And so the process would be, I would get the idea for a song, and I'd get the tempo going, and then I'd lay down a fake computer-generated drum track that I could play the guitar line to. Then I'd build from there. So the guitar line's down, the rhythm's down. I would put the lead guitar line, do the bass line, do the vocals, do the harmonies, and then at the very end, I would scrap the computer drum track, and I would drag my drum set in there and mic that up, and then lay down the real drums. And then after that, it's the editing process.
Wow,
so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how did it go? Was it always easy, or was it sometimes crazy making?
I mean, it's crazy, definitely. There's 14 tracks on the album, and the tracks that I recorded right away after I got the grant, they're sitting there on the computer in their folder. I came back to them all recently, and I could click on them and listen to them, and I could tell, like, wow, I have learned a lot along the way.
Yeah.
These first tracks, ooh, what was I thinking? Time to go back and tweak that a little bit. One thing, too, is when you have your studio sitting there staring you down every day, you don't quite understand where to draw the line for time commitment.
Sure.
If you rent out studio time, you know I've got 2 hours on Thursday, I'm going to go record. But when you're sitting there and you can see it, it gets easy to kind of slip into that abyss or that void of taking 77 tracks to get your guitar line right. Or you're sitting there at lunchtime and you're thinking, I haven't eten breakfast or lunch today. I've been sitting here recording music. So trying to find that healthy balance.
It's supposed to be the dream, though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. So, okay. So I get what you're saying, that there's this open-ended thing, because working at home, for me, the biggest distraction working at home is the refrigerator. But I can imagine when you have all that stuff in front of you. So how did you set your boundaries? How did you do that?
I don't know. I think I failed at setting boundaries for the first couple months, but then just realizing that, I'm not an island, and how my actions can impact the needs and feelings of people around me, maybe family or, girlfriend, that kind of thing. Just like, I did say I was going to go for a walk with you, and it's been, I said after this guitar line, and it's been 3 hours, but it's still this guitar line. But just, so just kind of trying to navigate that healthy boundary, and I think it took me a while to find that, so.
Yeah, and so since you teach, you have the summer off?
Yeah, this summer I decided to just record the album, so.
Nice. Well, that's great. Well, I want to talk more about the tracks and where they come from. You described starting from creating a song. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. We're talking to Caige Jamber, who has a new album out that's called Caige. Let's play another song. You have a second one for us?
Yeah, this one is called Spend Your Time. Let's see.
Oh, you spend your days in the meadow, picking flowers for a home. Spend your nights in my bedroom, twist my sheets into your robe. Spend your time making money. Oh, you turn that money into wine. First time you ever called me honey was the first time I knew you were mine. You said there's just one thing I want for you to know. That morning road is yours alone. I cannot take you with me where I'm going, no. I said that morning road is yours alone. When from a long-lost love you let be. Sometimes you spend, sometimes you learn that a love kept locked won't set you free. No. It's like a bird kept in a cage. She knows your name, she knows your face, but she does not know from where she came. Is it a tiny blue island in outer space? She said, there's just one thing I want for you to know. That morning road is yours alone. I cannot take you with me where I'm going, no. I said that morning road is yours alone. Under the sun, spend your life on the road, spend your nights on the run. Where you're headed, I don't know. I'm not sure if we are done, but I pray to God, I hope so. You have not called me hon for several months in a row. You said there's just one thing I want for you to know. That morning road is yours alone. I cannot take you with me where I'm going, no. You said that morning road is yours alone.
That's Caige Jamber and his song Spend Your Time on Center Stage, Minnesota. Caige, I know when you write a song, it doesn't just come out when you sit in front of the computer and start recording it. What's that process like for you? How do you get started?
I will say every now and then you get very lucky because you do just sit down in front of the computer and a song pops up. That's not the norm, though.
Yeah.
But when that does happen, you stick with that until it's recorded, because that's a rare treat.
Nice.
But
is there a track like that on this album?
There's a few songs on the album. One of the songs, the most recent song I wrote, was called Summer Days, and that the album was pretty much done. It was finalized, and then all of a sudden I started playing this song, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna put that on the album. Gotta get it down. So, but no, a lot of these songs actually have been years in the making. I have rough demos and things I had recorded on my phone, and for the album I decided to pull them out and refine them. Mm-hmm. Some of the songs are autobiographical, others are fantasy or fiction. So yeah, just some songs tell a story, some are purely for the melody. I think songs can come from a lot of different places. So
yeah, and this last song is more of a romantic song, and the song before that has a great line, "If I had a pool."
Yeah, right. So there's a little humor, or it all depends on the mood. You know? Yeah. If you had good coffee that morning, maybe you're gonna write a funny song. If you had to skip the coffee, you might write a breakup song. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and so a lot of times people will ask me like, "Oh, when did that happen? That person never broke your heart that way?" Or it's like, "Oh no, that song's not about that person. I don't know why you thought it was." But
right.
You know, they assume that you're writing about your life, or a lot of inspiration does come from your life. But I think as musicians, you're entitled to blow it up a little bigger than it might be, or
right.
So
yeah, I saw Cliff Eberhardt in concert once, and he said, I'm not a 13-year-old drug addict, female drug addict.
Right.
You know, I don't necessarily write songs about my own life.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but I've had experiences that I can relate in that song. So that's pretty fun. So you've been out gigging, I'm sure, and doing a lot of shows this summer. I know I've seen you were at Bridget's not too long ago. And
yeah, it's been a busy summer.
What are you up to this weekend?
Let's see, this 25th, for my friends in Fargo, I'll be playing at Roosevelt Park with my friend Barrett Dybing of Bearland. She'll be singing with me down there in Fargo.
Nice.
The 27th, you can find me at Harmony Co-op in Bemidji doing their family summer festival. And then on the August 3rd, going back down to Moorhead to play at Junkyard Brewing Company.
Oh,
that should
good.
be fun. They have live music every night there. It's
Wow.
pretty insane. And then on August 11th, I'll be at Bridget's Pub once again having my album release party. So the album will be physical, CD there, all that good stuff. It'll be on Spotify and iTunes at that point. So it's going to be kind of the real release. If you are getting kind of curious about the album, you can check out caigejamber.bandcamp.com. I've put the album on there. You can stream it. You can buy the digital album there. If you can't wait for the release, get a sneak peek that way.
But you can get an actual CD on August 11th.
Absolutely, yep.
And that'll be at Bridget's.
Yep, it'll be at Bridget's. And my girlfriend Rachel Lash was an awesome photographer, and she helped me with the design of the CD and taking the pictures and getting that vibe going. So she's a very artistic person. So
Yeah. So what's it like to do all the work? Is it overwhelming?
yeah, it's overwhelming. I mean, but in a positive way. I think it's positive stress.
Yeah.
You're always your own worst critique, you know. So getting second ears to hear some things as you're going is very helpful. Knowing when to draw the line, kind of, was still maintaining the integrity of the piece. So I could change the reverb 2% this way or 2% that way, but is it really going to affect the bigger picture?
Right.
At what point do I stop digging and just focus on the music? In today's society, it's so easy to have endless creative opportunities and options. You pull up your computer, even if you have GarageBand or whatever, you have the world at your fingertips.
Right.
And sometimes it can get kind of overwhelming to see all that stuff. So I think creativity's best friend is limits. Saying, in this song, I'm going to just limit myself to 3 instruments, and that's what I'm going to do. Or maybe I'll limit myself to only playing open chords or only bar chords. Or, so kind of limit yourself so you're not overwhelmed.
And do we get any insight into that in the notes on your album? Will we have any clue that that's going on, or is that all in your head?
No, it's all in my head. It's more just keep me busy, So it can get kind of, I don't know, kind of lonely staring at a screen for a couple hours at a time. And I think if you had a band in the studio with you, you could have some of that banter and that fun. But it's definitely, there's a proud feeling in having done it all yourself.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you release an album and it's got bass and drums and keys and it's got shakers and harmonies. How do you find that to play it live? You got to find your friends and pull them together and say, let's do this now. And
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting though. It's fun to hear the tracks as you've put them together in the album, and we're looking forward to that album release because there still are people like us who like the actual CDs.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it's really fun to hold it in your hand, and I'm sure for you that will be a great feeling.
Well, all my friends we can't afford new cars, so all of our cars are just CD players still.
Yeah.
So if you want to have any music, you got to pop the CD in.
Oh, yes. Well, at least it's not a cassette player still.
No, but that's making a comeback. Maybe the album will be out on cassette someday.
Isn't that weird? I think that's weird. I don't understand that. Well, that's how it goes, though. So that's coming up, and it's pretty exciting, and you have a lot of stuff to do in the summer, and I'm sure that keeps you quite busy, and we're happy to have you take some time to stop by here.
Yeah.
How about taking us out with one more song?
Absolutely. This is a song I was mentioning earlier. It's the one that just kind of came to me towards the end of the album. And it's, again, kind of I don't know, it's a little humorous. Somebody found the track online, and they were looking at when the CD came out online. Somebody caught their ear and they said, "This song is great. It's kind of got that surf rock, skateboard rock kind of feel, but the lyrics are kind of southern rock."
Funny.
I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
The lyrics are southern rock, but
It should be a summertime song then. That
called
makes
Summer
sense.
Days, yeah.
So, all right, this is Caige Jamber, and you're listening to Center Stage Minnesota on KAXE and KBXE.
Start a GoFundMe for a little beer money. All you gotta do is like and share so I can fill my tummy. I'm gonna have a yard sale, spend the money on a cocktail. At this rate, babe, I hope I don't end up in jail. It's those summer days, they've got me feeling strange. Never have a clue what day it is, they just come and go in waves. It's those full moon nights, the universe looking for a fight. No need to act so tough, cause you know it'll be alright. need to get a paycheck so I can rock a tape deck. Turn up the volume all the way, headbang till I break neck. Maybe I should start a band or start living in a van. Being a bum seems so much fun when you're giving all your money to the man. It's those summer days, they've got me feeling strange. Never have a clue what day it is, they just come and go in waves. It's those full moon nights, the universe looking for a fight. No need to act so tough, cause you know it'll be alright. I need to turn it down, turn it around before I end up underground. I dig in a hole out of control. You know I hope you stick around. I need to turn it down, turn it around before I end up underground. Yeah, I dig in a hole out of control. You know I hope you stick around. It's those summer days, they've got me feeling strange. Never have a clue what day it is, they just come and go in waves. It's those full moon nights, the universe looking for a fight. No need to act so tough, cause you know it'll be alright.
That's Caige Jamber on Center Stage, Minnesota. Summer Days, the name of that song, coming up on his new album called Caige.